Hi friends, welcome to Free Life Science class. Today we are going to take about DNA replication in detail. So we already completed the basics of DNA replication, the enzymes, proteins that are involving in DNA replication. So next process is we have to start with prokaryotic DNA replication. In the next video we will deal with eukaryotic DNA replication. So in prokaryotic DNA replication, basically there are three steps: initiation, elongation and termination. Okay, so these all things we have discussed in the previous video. Okay, so please watch that one so that you will get a clear cut idea about proteins and enzyme and their function that involved in the each step of the DNA replication. Okay, so we are moving into the initiation step. So the initiation step is the first thing is that we are going to recognize the starting point of replication. So the replication begins at a point called ORIC region or ORIC point. So this is a point. This is a point where the replication begins. Okay, so when we are going to deal with prokaryotic DNA replication, so we all know that prokaryotic chromosome, prokaryotic DNA is circular in nature. Prokaryotic DNA is circular in nature. So we have to recognize the point to start replication. So this is the point. We call this point as ORIC region, or we can call it as origin of replication or IC region, etc. like that. So that this point is the starting point of DNA replication. Okay, now we can discuss about this ORIC region in detail. So in this picture you can see that enlarged image of this ORIC region. Okay, ORIC consists of 245 base pair long sequence. So the ORIC sequence is not a short sequence. It consists of 245 base pairs and it have more 80 base pairs than GC. So it is rich in 80 base pair. Okay, it is rich in 80 base pairs and it is highly conserved in almost all prokaryotes. So this is an important point. So you know these all things so that you can attempt MCQs based on this. Okay. So ORIC consists of 245 base pairs. It consists of 80 rich sequence and it is highly conserved in prokaryotes. Mostly there are two regions in the ORIC sequence. Okay, there are two regions. One is called the 13-mer region and one 9-mer region. That is, there are two regions. One it is called as 13-mer region. Another is known as 9-mer region. Okay, this 13-mer region is 3 times repeated in the ORIC region. Okay, the 13-mer region is repeated 3 times and 9-mer region is also known as 9 base pair region. It is repeated 5 times. In the figure it is only shown 4 times. That is, here is 1, 2, 3 and 4 and one more there. There are 5 repeats of 9-mer region. Okay. So what happens this region when replication starts? That is, the 9-mer region is rich in 80 sequence and is present upstream to 9-mer region. So this 13-mer region is present upstream to 9-mer region and consists of 80 base pairs. A sequence called GATC sequence is there at ORIC region. Okay, and this sequence is very, very important, that this adenine molecule in that region is methylated for distinguishing a parent strand and newly synthesizing strand. So that in Oraceae region there are two repeats, that is 13-mer region, 3 repeats of 13-mer region and 5 repeats of 9-mer region, and there is another sequence called GATC sequence where this adenine molecule is methylated, and this methylation is done by the help of DAM methylase enzyme, DNA adenine methylase enzyme. Okay. So when replication start, this ORI region open up and form a open complex so that other proteins can bind to that region and DNA replication initiate. So we can call a name replicon, means it is a unit of DNA replication which possess the origin of replication. So replication is the unit where the origin of replication is there. In prokaryote, we can only see one replicon. Okay, very, very important. In prokaryote, there is only one replicon. So replicon is the region where DNA replication starts, and we can see Oraceae region there. Okay. So in this picture you can see that some proteins, we will discuss it later, some proteins comes and binds to this 13-mer and 9-mer region so that DNA is bending and forming an open complex so that initiation can takes place easily. Okay. Then one important point is only fully methylated DNA undergoes DNA replication in prokaryotes. Okay, this is very, very important. Only fully methylated DNA. If in case of hemimethylation, if DNA is hemimethylated, or we can say the DNA is semi-methylated. For example, this is the parent strand and here it consists of GATC sequence. Okay, and in both strands there will be GATC sequence. Here also it will be there, in this strand also will be there, and in both this adenine is methylated. Then only we can say that fully methylated DNA. Otherwise we call it, if it is in one strand, we call it as hemimethylated DNA. Hemimethylated DNA cannot undergo replication. And there are some proteins like SEC-A. They will inhibit the DNA replication because they will only do hemimethylation. They will prevent fully methylation. That is, they will prevent methylation, complete methylation. Okay. So if you see SEC-A in any question, it means that they will prevent methylation or they will prevent replication. And also if you see hemimethylation in any question, it means that there is no replication. In hemimethylated case, there is no replication. Only in fully methylated DNA, we can see DNA replication. Very, very important point. Please note this point. Okay. The next one is about proteins. We can discuss about few proteins that helps in DNA replication. Okay, the first one is DNA A protein. DNA A protein is the main protein that will helps in recognizing this origin of replication or IC sequence. That means this will recognize the RIC sequence. Then only we can start initiation. Yes. Then about DNA B proteins. Simple mistake, DNA. Okay. DNA B protein. This is actually a helicase enzyme. Okay. Helicase enzyme. DNA B is an helicase enzyme. What is the role of helicase enzyme? We already discussed that. The role of helicase enzyme is it will help in unwinding of DNA. It will help in unwinding of DNA. Then only we can initiate replication. DNA is in double helix form, isn't it? So we have to remove this double helix and form an open complex. So this will be with the help of helicase enzyme. The next one is DNA-C. DNA-C helps to bring the DNA B to the actual site. So this DNA-C at the origin of replication, it helps helicase to recognize the site for its action. That is, the DNA-C recruits the DNA B to the origin of replication, to the site of replication. Then about DNA-G. DNA-G is actually a primase enzyme. We know that primase, what is the role of primase? Primase add RNA primers to the replication site so that our main enzyme, that is DNA polymerase, can add nucleotides and synthesize new strand. So this DNA-G protein is a primase which will synthesize new RNA primer. And the next protein is DNA gyrase. DNA gyrase is a topoisomerase. We already discussed about topoisomerase. Topoisomerase helps in releasing the tension of the DNA helix. When this open complex comes, when we open up a DNA here, what happens? The rest of the DNA will be supercoiled and feels a tension there. So that for releasing that tension, releasing the supercoils, the DNA topoisomerase helps. It will break the DNA chain and then release the tension, then seal that break. So topoisomerase will help in releasing the tension filled by DNA double helix as a result of supercoiling. Due to supercoiling, it feels tension, so that will released by the help of DNA gyrase. It is actually a DNA topoisomerase enzyme. Okay. It is a DNA topoisomerase. Basically, it is class 2 topoisomerase. Okay. This is a table showing all the proteins that involved in the prokaryotic cell and their role in replication. This is the eukaryotic homologue of the same protein. The first one is DNA-A. DNA-A, we already discussed about that. DNA-A recognize the origin of replication. And in eukaryote, we didn't identify that protein which helps in initiation or recognizing the origin of replication. The next enzyme is which helps in unwinding. Unwinding is helicase enzyme. In the case of our prokaryote, it is DNA B. Okay. Then about stabilization of unwound template strand. Stabilizing, there are some proteins which helps in stabilizing. We already discussed it in the video 1, that is in part 1 series, that is SSB protein. SSB protein will help in maintaining the single strand as such. It will not allow the single strands to complementary base pair each other. Okay. Then about the primase enzyme. So primase enzyme helps in adding new RNA primers. Then about the synthesis of leading and lagging strand. DNA polymerase will helps in the synthesizing of DNA leading strand as well as lagging strand. Here in the case of eukaryote, the leading strand is done with the help of delta and lagging strand with the alpha. In prokaryote, it is done with the DNA polymerase 3 enzyme. Then removal of RNA primer is done by DNA polymerase 1 enzyme because it have 5' to 3', 5' to 3' exonuclease activity. And here it is unknown. Okay. In the replacement of RNA with DNA. So when we add RNA primers, after the DNA replication, we have to remove the RNA primers added and we have to add nucleotides in that region. So this is done with the help of DNA polymerase 1. And next one is joining of Okazaki fragments. Okazaki fragments are short sequences in the lagging strand. And the joining of these fragments is done with the help of DNA ligase enzyme. DNA ligase enzyme. Okay. Then removal of positive supercoils ahead of advancing replication form. It is done with the help of DNA topoisomerase 2. It is DNA gyrase in the prokaryotic cell. This is another chart showing each of the protein that helps in the DNA replication. So you can note it down or take a snapshot so that you can again memorize this table when you require. Okay. So we are moving into the initiation step. So we have discussed the proteins that are involved in the initiation step. The first protein is DNA A protein. So this DNA A protein gives signals to start cell division because they recognize the origin of replication. So when they recognize origin of replication, they give signals to the cells to start cell division. So this process requires energy. So the DNA protein along with ATP binds to the 9-mer region. Okay. So the DNA A protein will bind to this 9-mer region so that this DNA going to bend towards the 13-mer region. So it will bend, the DNA will bend, it will form a loop and the 13-mer region will get open up. An open complex, it's not complex, it just open up. That is opening of 13-mer region takes place. We already studied that AT base pair is weaker than GC base pair. So that the hydrogen bond between AT sequence is much more easy to break. So we already said that 13-mer region is rich in AT sequence so that it is easy to open this region. So 13-mer region get opened. Okay. So when this open complex is formed, that is when this DNA gets opened, what happens? The DNA C recruits DNA B. We already said that the DNA C helps, brings, recruits DNA B to that origin of replication. So this DNA C recruits the DNA B to the site of replication, the site of open complex, and DNA C will be released. So again ATP needs. So when DNA A protein comes and binds to 9-mer region, we need ATP. The second one is when DNA C recruits DNA B to the region, again ATP is needed. So 2 ATP molecule is conserved in these two steps. So when DNA B protein, that is a helicase, when they bind to the DNA, it will unwind. It will start to unwind the DNA. So this DNA B helps in unwinding of DNA and generate two single stranded DNA molecules. One with 5' phosphate end and another with 3' OH end. So this helicase needs ATP as an energy source for unwinding of DNA. So the helicase, the first ATP is required when DNA A is loaded into the 9-mer region. Second ATP is required when this DNA B is recruited to the region, and this ATP helps in unwinding the DNA. This ATP helps in unwinding the DNA. Okay. So the next process is the activity of helicase. This is helicase enzyme. Helicase enzyme do what? They unwind the DNA helix. These yellow proteins are known as single-stranded binding proteins. These single-stranded binding proteins will help in keeping this DNA, both these DNA strands separated. They helps in keeping the DNA strand in separated. They will not allow these two strands to base pair. Okay. The next process is about DNA gyrase. So when you open up, when you unwind the DNA, the supercoil will be formed. So that you have to avoid supercoiling. When supercoiling increases, the DNA get tense. Due to this tension, there will be damage to the DNA. So we have to release that tension. So to release that tension, our DNA gyrase creates certain nicks in the DNA, and after releasing that tension, it reseals that nicks. So the DNA gyrase helps in avoid the supercoiling with the help of forming nicks and then rejoins. So it have endonuclease activity. Also it have ligase activity. Both activities are we can see in this enzyme, this single enzyme. So topoisomerase have the property of avoiding supercoils that formed in the DNA replication, and it also helps in creating nicks to avoid that tension, and it will reseal that joints. Okay. This tensioned or supercoiled DNA decreases the rate of replication. To avoid that, this DNA gyrase helps in releasing the tension in the DNA. The opening of the DNA strand creates a replication fork. You can see in this animation. So this animation you can download it from Google. So there are a lot of animations and images, so you can download it from there also. So this is a beautiful animation. So in this beautiful animation, you can see that the replication fork is forming. So when DNA is opened up, a replication fork is formed in the shape of the letter Y. Yes. And it is important because it facilitates polymerase to work properly. So this replication fork allow the sorry. So this DNA polymerase can work easily in the replication fork. As the chromosome of the bacteria is circular, there will be two different replication forks are developed. That means we already know that it is a circular DNA. So this is the origin of replication. When an open complex is formed, it's like this. So here you can see one replication fork, and here also you can see one replication fork. So two replication fork will be there in the case of prokaryote. When we compare it with eukaryote have many replication fork because DNA in eukaryote is very long and it is very complex. So if there is only two replication fork, the DNA replication will not end in few hours. It will take days, etc. So that there are lots of DNA replication fork that are formed in eukaryote. When two replication fork comes and meets, replication stops. Okay. In eukaryotes also, when two replication fork comes and joins, replication stops. So as the chromosome of the bacteria is circular and different, two different replication forks are developed in two different directions. You can see that one in this direction and one in this direction. Two different directions and it runs towards each other. When helicase unwinds DNA, there are some proteins. We already discussed that. There are some proteins called SSB, single stranded binding proteins. This single stranded binding proteins will help to keep the DNA strands separated. It will protect it from rejoining and also prevents single stranded DNA from attack of nuclease. So there are two different properties of SSB proteins. One is that it will help in make the DNA as such, that is it keeps the DNA separated. It will protect it from rejoining or it will not allow base pairing with the opposite strand. And also it prevents nuclease attack. It will prevent the nuclease attack. Okay. The next step is the elongation. So we have already discussed the initiation step. So once again, I will explain all the thing in one step. So our DNA consists of an RIC sequence. That RIC sequence consists of 245 base pairs and there are two regions called 13-mer region and 9-mer region, and the DNA A protein binds with this 9-mer region. So this DNA will bend towards this 13-mer region and the 13-mer region forms an open complex. When this DNA gets opened, the DNA C recruits DNA B to that point and DNA B is a helicase so that it will help in unwinding the DNA. And this complex is now called as pre-priming complex. Okay. When the DNA C will leave the complex and our DNA B begins to unwind the DNA. When this DNA gets unwinded, we call this complex opened. That is open complex. We call this complex as open complex. Next step is elongation. So we can say that now this stage is ready to do elongation. The first in the step in the initiation, we have already seen that the DNA strand, the double helix strand gets separated. Helicase comes and unwinds the DNA. Single-stranded binding proteins will keep the DNA strand separated. Now the primase enzyme comes. The primase add a short stretch of RNA primer to the DNA so that the DNA polymerase can synthesize DNA. So this primosome means it is a complex with primer and helicase. So this primer helicase complex is created, and this polymerase recognize it and start the polymerization process at leading strand. So first thing is that the DNA synthesis will start in the leading strand, and this is the leading strand. Leading strand will be in 3' to 5' direction. 3' to 5' direction. Okay. And the lagging strand will be in 5' to 3' direction. So the replication in leading strand will take place in 5' to 3' direction continuously. But in case of lagging strand, the DNA replication takes place in 5' to 3' direction, but it will be not continuous. It will be discontinuous. Okay, it will be discontinuous. And we can say that these short stretch of sequences is known as Okazaki fragments. Then our DNA polymerase will comes to the primer. This green color is the primer. You can see that. I'm sorry, this green color is the DNA polymerase. This DNA polymerase comes and synthesize the DNA. Okay. So this is another protein called clamp loader, which helps this beta clamp, a protein that helps the DNA polymerase to completely hang on the DNA, so that it will not allow the DNA polymerase to dissociate before DNA replication ends. So, two DNA polymerases are synthesized both in leading strand as well as in lagging strand. So, it is possible with the help of two subunits of DNA polymerase 3. Okay. So, these DNA polymerase have different properties. One is specific for leading strand and other is specific for lagging strand. And now we can discuss about clamp loader. So there are 2 points which I forgot to tell, so that I explained it now. So we are moving into clamp loader. Clamp loader is a protein which helps to load this beta clamp. You can see this in purple color, beta clamp to the DNA. The function of this beta clamp is that it will firmly attach to the DNA polymerase and DNA, so that the DNA polymerase will not dissociate from the DNA until the replication starts. Okay, this is a function of sliding clamp. In prokaryote, we called it as beta clamp. Okay. So, there are two sliding clamp and a polymerase. This clamp loader helps in the polymerase to settle on each DNA strand. So, this helps in placing the sliding clamp on the DNA. And this sliding clamp holds the DNA properly and prevents them from floating off. That means this is our DNA. So this is our DNA polymerase. So there is a chance of DNA polymerase to dissociate from the DNA, so that the clamp loader will helps to firmly attach the DNA polymerase and the DNA, so that the DNA polymerase will not dissociate from the DNA. Okay. Next, about leading strand synthesis. We can discuss about leading strand synthesis, how this leading strand synthesis takes place. So, this DNA polymerase have the activity of adding nucleotide in the 3' position. So, our new strand will be synthesized from 5' to 3' direction, and the nucleotides will be added to the 3' position. Okay, that is 3' OH end. So the primer is this green color is the primer. Primer is firstly added to the DNA. After that, the DNA polymerase come and recognize RNA primer. Then this DNA polymerase will synthesize the strand continuously. Okay. So with the help of helicase unwinds the DNA and this DNA polymerase can move forward. Okay. So during this process, 1000 nucleotides are added per second and error rate is very low when compared to transcription. This leading strand synthesis, DNA synthesis is very straightforward. It start at primosome and continuously add nucleotide until the termination sequence reach. Okay. Next, about lagging strand DNA synthesis. In lagging strand synthesis, it is quietly different. That is, the template is in opposite direction, that is in 5' to 3' direction. So we cannot start the replication from here because this region is forming replication fork. There is no replication fork here. So we have to start from this region itself. So that DNA polymerase will add RNA polymerase in a frequent manner. That will, at intervals, it add RNA polymerase. Then the DNA polymerase will add nucleotides in 3'OH position of this RNA primer, and short stretch of nucleotides sequence are synthesized, and we call this short stretch of nucleotide sequence as Okazaki fragments. Okay. After synthesizing Okazaki fragments, DNA ligase enzyme comes and joins this gaps. So in lagging strand we can see multiple primers. In leading strand there is only one RNA primer. In lagging strand there are multiple RNA primers. So in lagging strand the DNA is synthesized in short stretch, that is short DNA fragments called Okazaki fragments. Each new primer is added after 1000 nucleotides. So the interval at which the RNA primer is added is 1000 nucleotides. After every 1000 nucleotides, RNA primer is added. Then after every Okazaki fragment is synthesized, the sliding clamp is removed. Then again this sliding clamp goes and binds to the next DNA polymerase and again start to synthesize DNA again. Okay. So once again the new primer is synthesized by the primase and binds to the DNA. The clamp is further loaded by the sliding clamp loader and synthesis of new Okazaki fragment begins. This process is continuous. That is, once again this sliding clamp is dissociated, then it will binds to the new DNA polymerase and then again start to synthesize Okazaki fragments. So this process will take place until the termination sequence will reach. Okay. And after the synthesis of Okazaki fragments, the DNA ligase. So we are moving into the termination of replication. In termination of replication, first thing is that the joining of Okazaki fragments. That means the lagging strand is synthesized in short stretch of nucleotide sequences. There are short stretch of nucleotide sequences in the, I am only showing the lagging strand for understanding. So there are RNA primer in front of each of the Okazaki fragments. You can see this RNA primer in Okazaki fragments. Okay. So this is 5' and this is 3'. Okay. So Okazaki fragments are synthesized in lagging strand. So you have to join this. You cannot complete the termination or you cannot complete the replication by leaving this Okazaki fragment like this. So you have to join the Okazaki fragments. For joining these Okazaki fragments, first of all you have to remove the RNA primer. So RNase H an enzyme which will cleave the RNA primer. RNase H is an enzyme which will cleave the RNA primer. Okay, so this RNA primer is cleaved off. Okay, so this RNA primer is cleaved. Then our DNA polymerase 1, which have the proofreading activity, 5' to 3' proofreading activity, will comes and add the nucleotides there. Okay, I will use another color, you can identify it easily. So this nucleotide will be added by the DNA polymerase 1. So DNA polymerase will add nucleotides. Okay, it will add nucleotides. So now you can see there are some gaps formed there. You can see some gaps here. So this gap will be sealed by the DNA ligase. So the DNA ligase fills up the gap. So now you get a fully long DNA. Now you can stop the replication because you get the fully stretched continuous stretch of DNA. Now you can stop the DNA replication. Okay, so there are certain TER proteins, TER sequences, that is termination recognition sequences, and TES protein which helps in stopping the DNA replication. Okay, so this DNA replication will be, so the DNA replication will be terminated with the help of these termination sequences. You can see 6 different types of termination sequences: A, B, C, D, E and F. Among that, this anti-clockwise replication, moving replication fork is stopped by the TER sequence A, and clockwise moving sequence will be stopped by the TER sequence C. And there is another protein called TES, that is terminator utilizing substances. This TES protein will bind to the DNAB. DNAB is the helicase and inhibit the helicase activity so that this DNAB is released from the DNA. And what happens? Termination result. Okay, so there is one enzyme that is still in action. All other protein will leave the complex. That is, at this point, all the proteins, all the enzyme will release from this site or will leave from this site, and only a single protein remains there, that is DNA topoisomerase. So now you get new strand, that is 2 different strands of DNA, isn't it? So you have to, this is one here, row like this. So you get new 2 different strands and you have to remove this newly synthesized DNA from the other. That is, you have to separate 2 new DNA strands. For this, the DNA topoisomerase will help. So DNA topoisomerase will create a nick here so that the DNA will come out and then the break is joined. So we already studied DNA topoisomerase have the property. So the DNA topoisomerase will help to do this process. Okay, so we have discussed prokaryotic replication in detail. So first thing is that DNA unwinds in the origin of replication. After that, our helicase enzyme will come and open up the DNA and form a open complex. Then the replication fork is extended bidirectionally. There are certain proteins will bind to the single stranded DNA and prevent it from rejoining. Then our topoisomerase enzyme will help in releasing the tension field by the DNA double helix due to supercoiling. Then primase enzyme add RNA primers. After the adding of RNA primers, our DNA polymerase start to add nucleotide in 3' direction. Then elongation of both lagging and leading strand continues. Then RNA primers are removed by exonuclease activity of RNase H, and the nucleotide is added by the proofreading activity of DNA polymerase 1. Then next process is gaps are filled by the DNA polymerase. Then the gap between the two DNA fragment is sealed by DNA ligase, which helps in the formation of phosphodiester bond. After that, two new different DNA are synthesized. And this process, the removal of the new strand from this old one, is done by the help of topoisomerase. Okay, so we have completed DNA replication in prokaryotes. Then there are some other point we have to discuss, that is regulation. So it will be discussed in the next video. After the eukaryotic replication, we will discuss about the regulation of replication. Okay. So this is all about prokaryotic replication. If you liked my video, please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe my channel. And also click on the bell icon so that you will get further notification. So thank you for watching my video.